to No Longer Hustle. I am your host, Cassie. If you listen to episode 5 and 6, you know we have been navigating some heavy waters. We talked about the caregiver gap and the part-time navigator ultimatum. We talked about the trauma, brain, and why we crash. But today I need to talk about the silence that comes after the crash. I want to talk about the isolation of the invisible wound. Usually, when we talk about isolation, we talk about friends disappearing or family fading away. And we will get to that. But first, I have to talk about the internal isolation. The lonely feeling of your mind wanting to go 100 miles per an hour, but your body hitting the brakes at 20. I realized this week, sitting in the chair for my iron infusion, because my body is literally eroding from the inside, that I have been waiting to get back to my old life. I've been hustling to get back to the version of Cassie who could work 12 hours and still make dinner. But the iron infusion taught me that there is no going back. There is only moving forward in this new body. And that rationalization is a lonely place to be. I'm going to tell you about a crash, not an actual crash, but it was a bad day. Not just any bad day. It was a bad day, and I went bankrupt. I was in the middle of work, reviewing a lesson with a student. It should have been routine, but my mind just kept going blank. I felt like I was losing the signal. I kept having to ask the student, wait, what was I saying? Where were we? I managed to push through and finish the session. But the second it was over, I closed my eyes at my desk and my head jerked back violently. It woke me up. That scary physical snap that tells you aren't in control anymore. I told myself, okay, a 15-minute cat nap will help. Just a quick rest. It wasn't 15 minutes. It ended up being an hour. My body forced a shutdown. And when I woke up, I wasn't refreshed. I had recharged just enough, just barely enough, to safely get in the car and pick up Selma for her doctor's appointment. That was it. That was the last spoon. I didn't choose to stop working. The fuel line had been cut. So now I'm going to talk to you about the concept of spoon theory. If you are part of the chronic illness community, you've probably used this in your everyday life. You know exactly what that feels like. If you aren't, you need to understand this to understand me. This is a concept called the spoon theory, and it was created by Christine Miserandino. It explains the math of being sick. See, before the accident, the old me, I used to wake up with what felt like unlimited spoons. I had a spoon to shower, a spoon to work, a spoon to cook, a spoon to argue. I had a lot of spoons to argue. And if I ran low, I just grabbed a coffee, an energy drink, and I got more spoons. But now, with the TBI, the gastric erosions, with the anemia, I wake up with a fixed budget. Let's say I have 12 spoons. The stress of the part-time navigator conversation that cost me 4 spoons before I even get out of bed. Fighting through the brain fog with that student, that cost me 3 spoons. The anxiety of iron infusion, 2 spoons. So yesterday when I crashed, it's because I spent my last spoon on that student. I already had spent my last spoon on that student. I wasn't being lazy, which people may call me that. I was being empty. I was empty. Nobody's ever called me that. Teaching the kids is very hard to explain this invisible concept to them. To them, I just look tired, or I look uninterested, or uninvolved, or worse yet, I just don't want to be there for them. So I'm trying to make it visual. I want to sit Salma, Malik, and Eduardo down with actual physical spoons on the table. I want to show them, look, this is mommy's energy for the day. When I woke up from the nap yesterday, I had 1 spoon left, and I used it to take Selma to the doctor. I need them to see that when I say no to something else, or when I can't drive them somewhere, it's not a rejection of them. It's simply an empty table. I cannot give you a spoon I do not have. The hardest part about living on fixed energy, take 2. The hardest part about living on a fixed energy budget isn't just running out of spoons. It's the guilt of miscalculating them. I do this all the time. In the morning, I feel okay. The old Cassie optimism kicks in. I say, yes, we can go to that event. Yes, I can drive you. But then the crash happens. And suddenly that yes turns into a no. To my husband, to my kids, to my friends. I look like a flake. I look unreliable. I look like I'm choosing to disappoint them. My older son gets angry, and one day he asked me, why did I say yes in picking him up and then later on say no? And the answer is heartbreaking, because I want to be the mom who could say yes. And this leads me to the deepest isolation of all, the illusion of support. Because I am isolated, I sometimes gather my courage, which costs a spoon, by the way, and I ask a friend or family member for help. Maybe just a ride for the kids or someone to just pick up some items for me. Perhaps a ride to the doctor. And I hear the same thing back over and over. Why don't you ask your husband? Why doesn't anyone drive in that house? They're old enough. You have a house full of people. Surely one of them can help you. They reject my request because they assume I already have support. They see a husband in the house. They don't see that he is in his room, alienated, asking to be a part-time navigator. They see an almost adult son. They don't see that he is fighting his own mental health battles. They see an adult son. They don't see a son who is struggling to finish his own schooling, making his own way in his adult life. This creates a double isolation. I am abandoned by the people inside my house who should be my anchor, and I'm abandoned by my village outside my house because they assume the anchor is holding. They look at my life and see a team. I look at my life and I see a ghost home. So when I ask for help and you say, ask your husband, you aren't just saying no, you're invalidating my reality. So where do we go from here? The way out isn't to hustle harder. The way out isn't to force my body to find spoons that don't exist just to make other people comfortable. The way out is acceptance. This podcast is called No Longer a Hustle. Today, sitting here with my chronic illness. Yes, I do have a chronic illness. One that is not going to go away with time. One that's not going to heal. But something that I will have for the rest of my life that is going to impact my day-to-day life. I realize it means something much deeper. It means no longer hustling for approval. It means no longer hustling for worthiness. I am done apologizing for being sick. I am done apologizing for needing rest. And I am done pretending I have a full drawer of spoons when I'm holding only one. If you are listening to this and you are gripping that last spoon so tight your knuckles are turning white, well, okay, my knuckles don't turn white, but you get the point. If you are holding on for dear life until your hand cramps, it's okay to put it down. Do not have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You are the anchor, and an anchor that is broken cannot hold the ship. So tend to your cracks, count your spoons, and forgive yourself for the no. I am Cassie. This is the reality of the invisible wound, and we will keep navigating it one spoon at a time. I'll see you next week on No Longer a Hustle.